Hey everyone, Shaper here from Adventure Together Games. Today I'm going to show you the 3D modeling workflow to get any old regular miniature STL file colored, to either use it as a pre-colored mini or to hand off to a manufacturer to show them how you would like it to be painted. I'm going to show you both of those workflows today, and I'm going to try and do that in under 5 minutes, so hang tight. Alright, so the first thing you want to do is take your regular old STL file and you're going to import it into a program like ZBrush. Inside ZBrush, you can see here there's about 200,000 polys active right now. You're going to want to go ahead and decimate this model so that there's less polys. This doesn't have to have clean UVs or topology. What you want to do is go down to poly groups, and you're going to group the polys by normals. I'll show you in a second what that looks like. So once you've grouped them by normals, it's going to go ahead and break the model based upon different areas that it's reading based on the normal map into different poly groups. This is going to be really helpful later when we try and automatically UV unwrap it. Go ahead and export this as an OBJ and make sure that you denote that this is the high polygon version. From here you want to go into Z plugin. You want to find the decimation master, pre-process, and then go ahead and decimate the model. Here I did it down to about 80,000 polys, but anything from 0 to 100,000 should work just fine. Go ahead and group by normals again, and once you see the result and it looks good, it doesn't have to be super clean, go ahead and export this again and just denote that this is the low polygon version. From here you're going to open a program like Meshmixer, import your low polygon version, go to Analysis, Inspector, and find if there's any problems with the model. You want to make sure that this can 3D print and it's airtight. Once you've gone ahead, you can autocorrect those and then export it again and overwrite the existing low poly model. Go now to Substance Painter, New File. Make sure it's on PBR Metallic Roughness. Keep all the settings and make sure that Auto Unwrap is ticked on. And go ahead and select the low polygon model to start it. It's going to go ahead and automatically UV unwrap this. What you see over here is all the UV maps that Substance Painter creates for you automatically. This is how you're going to be able to hand this off to a printer and get it made. So go down to Bake Mesh Maps, apply diffusion, and take the high poly model and apply it to the low poly model so that you have a better view while you're painting. Bake the texture maps and then return to your painting. Now you can see that the model looks a lot better now because you're using the high poly to really give it the definition and all the different maps it needs. This is a great tool I like to use. It's called PureRef. You can go ahead and open PureRef, drag it anywhere you want on your screen, and it'll stay on top of whatever application you're using, so you can put reference art or whatever you need there while you're working. So I'll go ahead and drag the Magi in here now so that I can see it while I'm working. From here, the first thing you want to do is add a fill layer. Now the fill layer will just allow you to add any old regular base color to the model, and we're going to build this out just like you would in Photoshop, layer by layer. So for now I just picked any random color, and now I'm going to add a fill layer on top of that. And the first thing I want to do here is add a black mask to that layer. Now what you notice is that turns that color off, but when I go ahead and I use my paintbrush on top of that black mask, I can now remove just certain areas that I want to use different colors in. This is going to be really important later on when I want to do a more complex paint scheme. So here I'm just going ahead and I'm taking every single part of the Magi and I'm trying to break it into its own unique mask so that I can use that later to really sort of play with and reach the best color possible. It starts to speed up here, and I'll do this piece by piece, but pretty much every single layer is exactly the same process. I create a fill layer, I add a black mask, then I go back in with my paintbrush, and I go ahead and I just highlight the areas I want to show that color through. Now you notice here I'm also pulling up Chrome, and what I'm looking at is a list of existing miniature painting hex codes so that I can use only colors that exist out there in the wild for anyone that wants to try and replicate the process later down the line. I'll share all those with the video so you can see it later. So I've just finished here what is a 4-color painted version, and when I'm done I export the mesh and then I export the textures into a 2D view at about a 2K resolution. Once that's done, I can use that mesh and those textures to do this anywhere, tabletop simulator, or to hand it off to someone else. Now I'm going to show you the more advanced workflow, but it always starts with creating the base mesh, because once I've created those, I can simply go back in now and I can drop in what is a stylized texture generator, which I'm about to, I'll put a link out in the video so anyone can see it. But basically this allows me to create different gradient maps, opacities, highlight different parts of the curvature, and really just sort of tweak and play with this based upon the mask that I just created. Now what I did here was sort of created a sort of astral themed Magi based on the mask I created for that basic sort of 4-color initial texture map. This is going to be a lot more detailed, and it's going to be very difficult to paint by hand, but using the new and latest pre-color technology, you're going to be able to print this and get it to your table. So I hope this is informative. Take care.